Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Imran Mir. In this audio-visual presentation, I will discuss communication process in advertising, communication phases in advertising, types of advertising, and functions of advertising. Communication process in advertising. An advertiser submits his or her idea in the form of a brief to an ad agency. An advertising brief contains the summary of information about why an advertiser wants to develop an ad message. In addition, information about the product benefits, targeted audience, and competitor is given in the brief. Ad agency encodes advertiser's idea into an ad message. In other words, ad agency translates advertiser's idea into an ad message. The process of converting or translating an idea into a message is known as encoding. Encoding may take place in the form of symbols, visuals, or words and sound, or combination of all these. For instance, you can see on your screen that an ad agency encodes the Pepsi's advertising idea about Mountain Dew into an ad message. In this case, ad message is composed of visuals and words. Once an ad agency has created an ad message, it transmits or conveys that message to the targeted audience through some kind of medium such as television, newspaper, or internet. In case of Mountain Dew, suppose the ad message is transmitted to the targeted audience via television. In case of Mountain Dew, the targeted audience is teenagers who like adventure. Once the targeted audience receives the ad message, they start decoding or interpreting it. Interpretation means assigning meanings to the ad message. Targeted audiences' interpretation of the ad message depends on their past experience with the advertiser and their knowledge of such products. Based on their past experience and knowledge, they interpret the ad message. Their interpretation of the ad message may be positive or negative. If targeted audience's interpretation of the ad message is positive, they may positively respond to the advertiser's message and vice versa. For instance, they may purchase the advertiser's advertised product or ignore it. As I mentioned in last discussion, that traditional advertising such as television advertising is a one-way communication. Thus, the only way left for advertiser to know the impact of ad message on targeted audience is through sales of the advertised product. There are some issues related to the communication process in advertising which create message distortion. Message distortion simply means ad message is not communicated properly or in a desired manner to the targeted audience. The source of noise which create ad distortion or ad message distortion may be the medium through which message is transmitted, or noise may come from targeted audience's side. For instance, when a member of targeted audience is watching a television commercial, in the background a baby might cry. The baby's crying may overshadow the ad message, so ad message is distorted. The medium, for instance, television, may itself be the source of noise or ad message distortion. For instance, when an ad or commercial appears on television screen, the picture freezes for a while. It creates message distortion. In advertising, it's known as blocked wave. Second technical issue which may create message distortion is sound pause. Third issue may be broken concentration, which is prominent in case of television advertising. When advertisers use visuals and sound together, sometimes advertising audience pay more attention to characters such as models, used in the commercial than the message communicated through them. That creates ad message distortion. Another technical issue related to television advertising is clutter or crowd. For instance, during a program, many commercials or ads are shown to the audience. Due to a bombardment of ads, audience is sometimes unable to remember and recall a particular advertiser's ad message. Besides these technical issues, some macro issues such as culture, language, and education may be the source of ad message distortion. For instance, ad message may be inconsistent with targeted audience's culture, and they may simply ignore it. Sometimes language, both verbal and silent, used in the ad may not be consistent with the language used by and understood by targeted audience. Sometimes education level of targeted audience may not be high enough to comprehend the ad message. Communication phases in advertising. When advertisers develop a communication or advertising campaign, they follow the hierarchy of effects model. In the first phase of advertising campaign, they develop ads or TVCs to create brand awareness. In other words, in the first phase or stage of communication, they have to make sure that their targeted audience is aware of the advertiser's product. In the second phase of the advertising campaign, advertisers develop ads or TVCs to ensure that their targeted audience comprehend or understand their product. At this stage, advertisers provide information about product features, benefits, and functionality. This information helps targeted audience to comprehend the advertised product. In the third phase of advertising campaign, advertiser develops an ad to ensure acceptance of his or her product by targeted audience. Acceptance means that targeted audience include advertiser's product in their consideration list or set. Before buying a product, consumers consider certain options or alternate brands. At acceptance stage of ad campaign, advertiser's goal is to convince targeted audience to consider his or her product as a possible option or solution. In the fourth phase of advertising campaign, an advertiser develops an ad or TVC to make audience to prefer advertiser's product. At this stage, advertisers provide information about some unique or additional benefits of their product so that targeted audience would give preference to their product over competing products. Ownership or call to action. In the fifth phase of advertising campaign, advertiser develops an ad to persuade the targeted audience to try or buy the product. At this stage, advertiser provides information about payment options, limited time period discounts, locations where targeted audience can easily get or buy the product. Reinforcement. At the stage of advertising campaign, advertiser will show all the ad messages to the targeted audience via different media so that the audience members who are at awareness stage can move up to comprehension stage, and who are at comprehension stage can move up to acceptance stage, and so on. Types of advertising. Advertising can be classified into different types based on target audience, geographical area, media used, and purpose. Classification of advertising by target audience. Based on target audience, advertising is classified into two categories: consumer advertising and business advertising. Consumer advertising is aimed at those individuals or consumers who buy products and services for personal use or for household purposes. Much of consumer advertising appears on media like television and in print. Business advertising is further classified into four categories: industrial advertising, trade advertising, professional advertising, and agricultural advertising. Industrial advertising targets individuals or people who buy or use the materials and services needed to conduct a business or manufacture other products. Trade advertising. Trade advertising targets intermediaries such as wholesalers and retailers that buy products for resale to customers. Most of trade advertising is placed by producers or manufacturers that want their products and services to be distributed by the intermediaries. But some businesses advertise their products to be used by trade or intermediaries themselves. For example, security system companies or anti-theft companies advertise their products to intermediaries so that the intermediaries can use those products or security systems to protect their businesses. Usually, trade advertising appears in trade magazines. Professional advertising is directed toward licensed professional practitioners such as lawyers, accountants, doctors, dentists, and engineers. This category of advertising may be used to persuade professionals to buy a particular product useful in their work or to recommend that product to their clients. For instance, professional advertisers can advertise their products such as BP operates to doctors because doctors use that product in their practice or work, or doctors can recommend the BP operates system to their patients. Agricultural advertising is used to sell the products such as tractors, fertilizers, and insecticides to farmers. Classification of advertising based on geographical area. Based on geographical area, advertising is classified into 4 categories. 1. International advertising. 2. National advertising. 3. Regional advertising. 4. Local or retail advertising. International advertising is used by advertisers such as Pepsi, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Coke to reach global audience of millions. These international advertisers use global media such as CNN, BBC, National Geographic, and Discovery channels to reach international audience or global audience. National advertising is used by companies who want to advertise their product in particular country or nation. In case of national advertising, all regions of customers from all regions of a country are exposed to advertisers' message by using national media such as television or newspapers. In case of regional advertising, advertisers advertise their product in a particular region of a country by using regional media such as television or newspaper. Local or retail advertising is confined to a particular state. It is usually used by local retailers to communicate or advertise their product or service to the local consumers or customers. Classification of advertising by media used. Based on media used, advertising can be classified into television advertising, newspaper advertising, radio advertising, magazine advertising, outdoor advertising which includes billboards and posters, and transit advertising that includes advertising appearing inside or outside buses, as well as social media and online advertising. Classification of advertising by purpose. Based on purpose, advertising is classified into 4 types. 1. Product versus non-product advertising. The purpose of product advertising is to sell the advertiser's product or service. On the other hand, the purpose of non-product advertising is to polish an advertiser's image in consumers' mind or to influence public image about an issue. The aim of non-product advertising is to keep audience thinking about who is sponsoring the ad or the issue. The purpose of non-product advertising, which is also known as institutional or corporate advertising, is not to make people think about the advertiser's product. Commercial versus non-commercial advertising. Much of the advertising around us is commercial advertising placed by a business or businesses that expect to make a profit. In contrast, non-profit and political organizations use non-commercial advertising to promote a cause or candidates rather than profit-making products. Primary demand versus selective demand advertising. The purpose of primary demand advertising is to stimulate demand for a particular product category, not for any one brand. This type of advertising is generally placed by associations that represent manufacturers or service firms. Selective demand advertising is used by individual producers or companies to build demand for their own brands. Direct action versus indirect action advertising. When advertiser wants to get immediate response from the targeted audience, he or she can use a direct action advertising, which is based on hard sell approach or hard selling approach. Direct action advertising includes coupons, discounts, limited time offers. The advertiser can quickly see whether the ad is working by counting responses. On the other hand, when advertising is used simply to build the audience's awareness of a product, it's indirect action advertising. It is based on soft selling approach. This type of advertising works over the long time period to boost a particular image, explain product benefits, or show where the product may be purchased. Functions of advertising. Advertising is used to build brand awareness. It is used to create a brand image in consumers' mind. It is used to communicate information about a brand. It is used to persuade target consumers or audience to buy a particular product. It is used to differentiate a company's product from its competitors or competing products. It is used to increase brand preferences. It is used to increase brand loyalty. In addition, it is used to provide information or brand reminders to target consumers, especially during off seasons. This was today's discussion related to advertising. Thank you for listening to this discussion. Allah Hafiz.